Morning viewers, and welcome to another Onside SA Soccer Show. Paul's in Australia, so joining me this morning will be our regular super sub and Manning Rangers ex-league winner Gavin Radford. Gav.
Hi Butch, good to be here.
Yeah, World Cup time, Gav. You know, we're jumping the gun.
Yeah, big games coming up, the month that we all wait for every 4 years. So let's see if we can find some winners.
You know what's strange about the World Cup? Yeah, it's like the July. The July handicap, you can be a terrible tipster, back the July winner, and you're forgiven. 100%. The World Cup, you back this one, you got 4 years of glory.
That's the secret of the World Cup. I mean, to take that glory and bask in it for 4 years. I mean, everybody wants to do well, yeah. Pity about the players that get injured. Yeah. But this is the time for all the players to shine. You're getting contracts from agents looking around at players. So it's a festive time for everybody, and especially for the fans. Yeah.
Gav, just to go off the World Cup story, did you watch Bafana get knocked out in the Kasafa Cup on Saturday?
But I watched very little Bafana soccer, to be honest. But watching the penalties was really a shame, I think. They really got to practice this stuff. I think it's part of the game. You've got to really work on it. Yeah. You've got to be positive when you step up. You can't be in two minds. If you hit it in the bottom corner, you hit it in the bottom corner. Guys are standing on front of the ball and they're looking like they're really nervous and not knowing what to do. And well, the keeper makes a save, it's a save, as long as you're hitting the target.
Yeah, I agree. I just turned over to watch the penalties. I couldn't believe, especially the guy that missed the fourth one. Don't know what he was trying.
Yeah, he was a bundle of nerves, you could see.
Anyway, on to the World Cup, Gav. What percentage of players do you think play in Europe? Of the 32 teams, 23 three-man squad, what percentage?
Geez, Budge, I think that's quite a tough one. Yep. If I look at the English setup, I mean, normally Man United, Liverpool have most of the players. Yeah. But I think maybe Man City, with their big squad, they'll have quite a few players in there.
Well, they've got the most players, Man City, in the World Cup. They've got 16 players. There's their squad.
It shows you how big and the depth of players are in their squad. And that shows in the Premier League how they won it so easily. Yeah. Having players at every position is international, then you really got a chance of doing well. And I think, like you say, if there's that many players in the World Cup, they've got a terrific squad.
74% of the players participating in the World Cup play in Europe. So all this European bias that the South Americans can't play in Europe, can you believe it? 74.
I think in the old days when all the top teams were strong, the Germans, the Dutch, the Italians, everybody played in the country. So there were no players coming from England back into the Dutch squad. It was a full Dutch squad who played each other every week. They all knew each other's game and they were very strong. I think the Germans are always competitive in the World Cup because their players are based there. Yeah. They have some really good superstars and it comes through their youth system quite a lot. And that's where the foundation is laid with them.
Okay. Gav, we'll be going through the group stuff now, but we've got our UK correspondent. Stevie, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Steve?
Good morning. I can hear you. You sound a long way away.
How are you going? Sorry, Steve. I'm battling to hear you, yeah? Are you there?
I can hear you fine now. I can hear you fine.
Steve, well, we're going to go through the World Cup, obviously the winners, as I sent you the email yesterday. I don't see many, other than the top, maybe 8, 9 teams in the betting winning it. We'll start with Brazil. What are your thoughts on them?
I think they're going to have a very good go. I mean, they had a very convincing campaign. They've looked strong in the sort of warm-up matches. I mean, obviously, most years you look at them and think they're going to do well. For me, I think that they're definitely one of the favourites for the competition. Yeah,
the only thing I've got against them is just with Dani Alves getting injured. I watched Danilo at right back and I haven't got too much confidence in him, but I think they go as far as Neymar goes. But I agree, definitely one of the favourites. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all things being equal, I think they're definitely they're definitely going to make the last 4. I think I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Okay, well, the guys that are always hard to beat in every competition, the Germans. You think they can cope without a centre forward? Or
yeah, I mean, when you look at their squad, I mean, it's. There's a few sort of players who we've seen in World Cups before, and you just wonder if they've got the legs for a whole tournament. I mean, especially their forward line as such. You can't see a lot of goals coming from there. Muller is obviously good, but they've got a good midfield. But again, they've been there so many times, and you sort of write them off at your peril. I think they're good for the last four, but I'm not quite sure they've got what it takes to win it at the moment.
Yeah, me too. The Spanish, I know all the players are mainly Real Madrid and Barcelona. How do you see their chances?
Yeah, I mean, they've been looking quite good. I mean, saw sort of clips of one or two of their sort of friendlies, and they're looking good. I think they're going to be come back. I mean, they didn't do as well in the last couple of tournaments. Yeah. I think they're going to be a hard team to beat, and I think they've got a good chance of getting through to the last four as well.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about with the Spanish, Steve, is the manager. Is he big enough and brave enough to take on the Iniestas and the Ramoses and those type of guys?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, obviously you've got, as you say, you've got the Iniestas of this world who have been there for so many years, and you wonder whether or not who calls the shots in the dressing room. But as I say, they had a good campaign. They've looked fairly strong in their pre-season, in the pre-World Cup warm-up. So. I think they're going to go. They're always a hard team to beat.
Yeah. Then the team that a lot of people here in South Africa are going for, Argentina.
Yeah, it's interesting because they really struggled. I mean, they literally just got through in the last game thanks to a bit of sort of messy magic. But it sounds as if they've turned a bit of a corner. They've been playing well in their sort of warm-up matches. I think they and Brazil will probably be the two favourites in South America this time round.
Okay, then the team that I think's got more players that play in England than the English team, Belgium. You think they can be dangerous?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in their not last night. I mean, they won very convincingly last night. They beat Egypt. Yeah, they completely dominated. Could have won by a hatful by all accounts. And I think Egypt without Salah obviously didn't create much, but. They're one of these teams. You look at them on paper, and they've probably got the best, as good a midfield or the best midfield in the world. Yeah. But they just haven't done it in tournaments yet. But this could be their turn. I think their forward line, to me, I mean, you've got players like Lukaku, who I think he's a bit of a flat track bully. Sort of scores goals against the weaker teams. Never seems to quite do it against the big teams. Yeah. And I just wonder whether or not he'll do that against the best defences in the world. But midfield, I mean, you've got Hazard and De Bruyne. Yeah, they can open up any defence. So it depends. Roberto Martinez went on record on saying whether they've. He said he's got the players that are capable of winning it, but whether they've got the mindset to do it. And I think that's that was certainly evident in the Euros when they lost to Wales. A couple of years ago. So, they're one of those teams. They could walk through the group and do well after, or they could sort of fail, surprisingly early.
Yeah, that's true. What's the latest with Vincent Kompany's injury?
It looks well. He didn't play last night. He sat it out. Whether that's a bit of a precaution. I think they would miss him. I mean, he hasn't played as much recently for Man City as we know, but obviously such an experienced player in defence. But then, as you say, they've got the rest of the defence pretty much all playing England, so they've got enough players they can call on. Yeah.
Talking about England, how do you think they'll do?
Well, I think reading in the paper this morning, I think they go there with a sort of least expectations of any England squad in many years. So I think if they get out the group, anything past that, people will think, well, they've probably done as well as expected. I have a feeling they may get to as far as the quarterfinals. Yeah. But that's they're going to have to play well. They haven't really shown any great form. I mean, the group, they won the group, but they didn't play well in a number of the matches. So. We'll see. I mean, the words that are coming out from the they're all very confident and they're fit but when you look at it, it's you find it hard that we would beat teams like Brazil on their day. Yeah.
Then on to the European champions, Portugal. You think Ronaldo can?
Yeah, I mean they've sort of okay. I mean, again, it depends. You've got players like Ronaldo, whether they do. They often surprise me. I never think they're going to do as well as they actually do. I don't think that they will go much beyond the quarterfinals, personally. Yeah. I just can't see it. I think there's other teams stronger. I don't think they'll win their group. So, and if that is the case, I think Spain will pip them. And if that is the case, they'll have a much harder sort of run in. Yeah. So, I think maybe quarterfinals are probably about as far as Portugal will get.
Okay, then the team that cruised through the South American qualifiers, Uruguay.
Yeah, again, they're one of the sort of dark horses for me. I think they'll win their group. I think they'll get at least probably could be quarterfinals.
Yep.
Not sure they get beyond, but they've got a good team. They've got a solid defence. Obviously, with sort of Suarez and Cavani up front, there's goals there. I think they're a hard team to beat, but I think to me, I mean, they're in what is probably about the easiest group. I can't see sort of Russia, Egypt, or Saudi Arabia causing them too many problems.
Yeah. Okay, on to the African team, Steve. Who do you think will be the best African performers?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think of the five who are there, I think Morocco have probably got the hardest draw. I can't see them getting anything against
Portugal and Spain.
Portugal. I mean, Tunisia, who have played some sort of reasonable football, it seems, but I can't see them beating Belgium or England. I think that's if England can't beat Tunisia, they probably don't deserve to go through. So I think that's those two gone. Egypt could be interesting. I mean, they're not in a strong group. I think they'll lose to Uruguay, but Salah is fit for the game against Russia. I think they could give Russia a good game. Russia have although they're the host, they haven't won in 7 games. They're not showing any form at all. I think that's quite a critical game. I think if Egypt could get through that, then they've got a chance of getting through. Otherwise, looking at, I think Nigeria in a toughish group. I mean, all those matches that they've got there with either Iceland, Croatia, or Argentina could go either way. I thought Nigeria played very well at Wembley in the second half, but other than that, I think that possibly Senegal might surprise a few people. Colombia in there and Poland, on their day they're good teams, but I think Senegal could give them a good game. So somewhere, Egypt if they beat Russia, possibly, or it's going to be either Nigeria or Senegal, but I can't see any hope for Tunisia or Morocco.
All right, Steve, you've got a few toad bets floating around. If I had to ask you, who would be your winner?
I think, based on form, I'm going to go. Even though they haven't done well in Europe in recent years, I'm going to go for Brazil.
Okay.
I think I haven't won it for a few World Cups, and I think if they can hit the straps and play to the sort of form and excitement that they can, I think it'd be good for world football to see Brazil win. And
who do you think they'll beat in the final?
I was going to go with Germany, but I'm just not so sure Germany have got what it takes. I have a feeling that Spain might get there. Okay.
And your losing semi-finalist, Steve?
Possibly Germany, and by surprise pick, I think might surprise a few people, are France.
France.
I think if France play as they can do, they've got a strong team. I've just got a feeling they could sneak through. So, it's going to be exciting. Look, I mean, as we know, there's always upsets.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it, really, isn't it? That's we make lots of predictions, and we want to see some exciting games and close games. So a couple of penalty shootouts further down the line all makes for a bit of excitement.
Okay, Steve, 2 last questions. Who's your biggest, the team to create the biggest upset there? One of the lesser teams. Who's your surprise team?
That's an interesting thought.
I
wouldn't be surprised if one of the African teams sneaks in. When you look at it, and I sort of was in a prediction league, and when I did my first draft of it all, I didn't have a single African team get through out of the groups, but I think one of them will. I just think whether it's Nigeria might surprise one or 2 teams.
Yeah.
And I mean, Iceland are in their group, and Colombia, Poland. Colombia on their day play well, but they could be caught out. I think Nigeria might surprise a few teams.
Nigeria, okay. And then of all the top teams that we've mentioned in the top, say, if I had to take Brazil, Germany, France, Spain, Argentina, and Belgium, which of those teams would be the team that may disappoint, who could go out in the last 16? Who would you say there?
That's interesting. Well, I mean, I don't think Brazil will. I don't think Germany will. But a team like either Belgium could, because you just don't know what you're going to get with them, and maybe France. I mean, although I think you get to the semis, but again, you just don't really know with a sort of Gallic temperament. So,
okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a twofold question. You know, if they get knocked out in the last eight,
I was going to say, much if you'd said England, I could have, then if England were in that group, I might have said England because they're quite capable of going out in the last 16.
Yeah, well, England are around 20-1 here to win it, so I wouldn't really think they're one of the fancy teams.
That must be about the lowest odds they've had in years. I mean, it's to go into a World Cup with, really, and I think. That first game against Tunisia is key. I think. I mean, they have to get through that. If they get through that, then they'll probably, they'll beat Panama. I think Panama have not shown any form at all in warm-up. I think they scored 1 goal in 5 matches. Evidently, were very poor last night, beaten easily. Let's see.
All right, Steve. Well, Steve, thanks very much. And it all starts next Thursday. At least the times are decent for both of us.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's one advantage of a European World Cup.
Yeah. Just a question on Fulham. I see you sold a defender to West Ham.
Yes. Well, effectively, we didn't sell him. He was out of contract.
Okay.
He wouldn't sign a contract in January. Had we not have won, he was definitely going to go. He's gone. He's one of these players that, on his day, is very good. He could have got sent off, as we know, in the first half. So he has a bit of a temperament issue, but he didn't want to sign a new contract. He's gone for a lot more money. Okay. I guess that's what it's all about. I think we were sort of half expecting him to go. Okay,
so he's no major loss.
To him, but to be fair to him, he gave his all.
Yeah.
He's played very well in recent months, kept his place. We brought in a replacement for him in January, Cyrus Christie, but from what I've heard, he might not necessarily be our first choice right back. I think there's going to be a lot of activity. We've got a relatively small squad and a thin squad, I think, as far as Premier League experience. So I think there will be quite a lot of activity. But again, a lot of that is going to happen maybe as soon as the World Cup finishes.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
I guess things are a lot clearer.
All right. Well, Steve, I'm sure you'll keep us informed with all the Fulham news, but thanks very much, and we'll speak to you next week.
Pleasure.
All the best, Steve. There you go, guys. That's our information from our UK correspondent, Stevie Brom. Gav, now it's our turn to go through. Let's get the slides up for Group A. The teams consisting Uruguay, Russia, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia.
Well, Budges, this tournament starts on Thursday with the home nation, Russia, playing. This is where it starts. If Russia don't do well and don't beat Saudi Arabia in the first game, they're going to be under huge pressure. The whole nation is waiting for them. You don't want to be one of the nations to get knocked out early or put that amount of pressure on you early in the tournament. But I think Russia will get past Saudi Arabia in their opening game.
So would you, the group winners, you think 8-10 Uruguay?
Uruguay, I'm going Uruguay to win it. Russia to hold on for second, fighting Egypt for that second spot. Okay, so you wouldn't think 14-10 Egypt to qualify is not a bad bet, or you still fancy the Russians? No, I'm going with the home nation, so I'm thinking Russia will get through. They need it for the country to get the support behind them. And once you get the support behind you, you can roll on. The crowd plays a huge part in these tournaments. Packed stadiums, passionate crowds. That's the way to go. I think 8-10 Uruguay, Cavani, and they're organised. Cavani and Suarez up front. Yeah, I think they're Godin and Co at the back. Like you say, in the qualifications, they did really well. They ran second, cruised in. On to Group B, which is, I think this group will have a major say in what happens in the competition. The reason being, it looks like Spain 4-10, but if Portugal win the group, and remember, next Friday is the meeting. Portugal play Spain. So with all the brackets, everyone's worked out. If Portugal finish above Spain, can you see that happening? 8 years ago when we were in South Africa, it's hard to believe 8 years ago, really. Portugal and Spain, I had the ticket for the game. It was the most lucrative ticket to have out there, but it was the most dull, boring game we ever met. But Spain, I think, are too good for them. I think Spain are too good for Portugal at this stage. Portugal, their preparation hasn't been great. They rely so much on Ronaldo. If he doesn't come to the party, you just see Portugal playing a defensive game and looking for a point like they did 8 years ago. But I think Spain to get through. In saying that, Spain, they're not convincing up front, and that's where the Achilles heel is for this tournament. Well, they've only got Diego Costa and Iago Aspas, so that's their weakness for me is the number 9. But they can play with a false number 9 like they did in South Africa. Now, the trick team for me, I like Iran. It's Carlos Queiroz' team. They were the second team to qualify after Brazil, obviously, and the hosts as well. If ever there's a bet in this group, it's to be the least number of goals, because Morocco didn't concede a goal in the qualifiers.
But as you say, you've got to fancy Spain and Portugal. The qualifier 1-16 or 1-5. You know, I wouldn't be throwing those into my all-to-comes, but if you did, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Iran will play a defensive game, try and catch you on the break.
Yeah.
That's their setup.
On to Group C, and France, Denmark, Peru, Australia. France 3-10, good things to the winner group?
Yeah, I think this is a different French team. The ones of the past were so much in-house fighting that before they got to tournaments, they had already lost the tournament. I think France are on my lurker to get to the semis at least. And I see them winning that group, and I've seen them winning that group comfortably. I think they can have 3 wins in a row,
Yeah, and I think there's great value in this. I think Peru at 18-10. Now, other than Messi scoring a hat-trick against Ecuador, they got the Argentinians, and Peru have been on fire in the South America. They only lost to Brazil in the last 9. Now, their centre forward, Pablo Guerrero, was suspended, but he's just now been given the green light. I think 18-10 Peru to sneak into the knockout stages is great value. The Australians, like we know, will never give in. You know, they've got a new manager, the guy that was in charge of Holland here, or the Netherlands, when they got beat in the final, Bert van Marwijk. He's taken over. Lack of quality in the Australian team. But for me, it's France and Peru, the value being Peru to qualify 18-10.
Yeah, I think Australia, it's a nice party for the nation.
Yeah.
They'll get there. They're not going to qualify. They'll come with a lot of passion, like you say. They'll stick everything into the game. Peru, I'm just worried about them travelling out into the European country to play. It's a bit of a travel for them to get out the country. So I think that's the Achilles heel for them.
Yeah. Okay, now on to what I believe is the toughest group in the World Cup. Argentina, Croatia, Nigeria, Iceland. Are Argentina at 6-10 good things?
Good things.
You think so?
I've always supported Argentina. I think they're a great setup. There's some great players in the top leagues.
Yeah.
Higuain playing there at Juventus. I mean, they've got some really good players, Messi.
Yeah.
1-6 to qualify. I mean, it's a formality. To win the group, very confident they'll win the group. Closely followed by Croatia.
Yeah.
They just don't seem to have any luck, but Croatia. They've got some great players playing in Europe. Nigeria disappointing in their pre-seasons at the moment. They're getting beat by the odd goal. And Iceland, I mean, they packed a good punch in the last European tournament.
Well, they're not England.
A lot of people.
I can't believe the qualifying odds, 26-10 Iceland, because they finished above Croatia in the group. Now, Croatia, I watched them against Brazil. A lot of good quality players, Modric, Rakitic, Perisic, and all the itches. They just don't seem to have a quality centre forward.
Yeah,
now, I'll tell you the worry I have for Argentina. Their goalkeeper, Sergio Romero, Man United's reserve goalkeeper, he's injured. Willie Caballero, who's the Chelsea goalkeeper, he's the main guy. The 2 centre halves are a guy called Fazio. Didn't make it at Tottenham, was in part of Roma's back four. And the other guy plays for Otamendi from Man City. I just worry about their back four. Marcos Rojo's left back. Mercado plays for Sevilla, I think it is in Spain. But going forward, you can't beat them. They've got the best forward line in the competition. Dybala, Messi, Higuain, Di Maria, and Aguero. I just worry about the back for this team, especially long term. They should get through the group. Now, who do you think will go through with them?
No, I'm leaning towards Croatia to go through. I'm not convinced with Nigeria.
Yeah.
I mean,
this thing, they've got a goalkeeping problem. I watched that guy against England. He doesn't look too clever. Yeah.
They've got a terrific kit, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, plenty of quality going forward, but it's just in defence. On to Group E. Tournament favourites Brazil with Switzerland, Serbia, and the surprise team of the last World Cup, Costa Rica. Should be all over for Brazil.
Yeah, I think Brazil are my favourites to win the tournament. They'll go 3 wins in a row in this game. Switzerland will be the dangers with Serbia. I think Costa Rica low in goals for them to score. I don't think they can score goals, but Brazil certainties. Well,
their goalkeeper is the Real Madrid goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. Remember last year they got beat by the Netherlands on a penalty shootout. I like Serbia here. I know they got beat by Chile in midweek, but they got Matic, Tadic, the guy up front, Mitroglou. You know, they got some players. Switzerland, I watched them play Spain the other night. Strong and well organised, but up front, I think if Shaqiri doesn't do anything, I think 12-10 Serbia to reach the knockout stages is a good bet in that group.
That group could come down to goals to get through.
On to Group F, another fancy team, Germany, against Mexico, Sweden, South Korea. Can't be taking 1-3, or is that part of your bets?
No, you can't take 1-3. I mean, it is a formality for Germany to qualify. We all expect Germany to qualify.
Yeah.
You know, they're such an oiled machine. To fight out for second, I'm leaning towards Sweden. I think Sweden will shade Mexico. Again, you know, Mexicans travelling into Russia.
Yeah.
I don't think they have great records going outside the country. And South Korea making up the numbers.
Yeah, I can't have South Korea, even though that's the guy that plays Son, that plays for Spurs. He's the main man there. Now, Sweden, everyone's crying about Holland and Italy not being there. Sweden knocked them both out. They finished above the Netherlands in the group, and then they knocked out Italy in the knockout stages. I watched them play a bit against Denmark last week. They just don't seem to score many goals. I've sided for Mexico to qualify at even money. It's part of our bets, but Sweden, well organised, but the Germans can't beat them with their 1-3. I've put them in our all-to-come bet, but I wouldn't have an individual bet. On to Group G, which I think is an interesting group with Belgium, England, Tunisia, and Panama.
Everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting to see this England team. A lot of youth in the team, a lot of pace in the team.
Yep.
And I think for the first time that they've had that in their favour, where they've got a lot of pace in the team.
Yeah.
You know, Sterling, Kane, they've got some real good pace up front. Vardy. So any team that takes them lightly and plays flat back four are going to get caught out. Yeah. They've got some real speed merchants up front this year.
Yeah, I fancy England to win the group. I think the three centre-halves, you know, I think will suit them, plenty of pace. And I think Kane, Vardy, Sterling, they've got Dele Alli, they've got Rashford. They stacked up front. I think he'll sit back and catch teams on the break. And I think 11-10 to win the group's a good interest.
Yes, I've been very impressed with England. Gareth Southgate's done a phenomenal job there with them. I think he's got them playing the way he wants them to go. Everyone's been talking about Belgium since the last World Cup. They had a lot of young players in the team that have now matured and gone on. But I think England will win this group. Belgium runs second. Yeah,
so do I. On to our last group, Group H, which is a terrible betting thing. I think it's a tough group with Colombia, Poland, Senegal, and Japan.
Well, I'm thinking Senegal are the best African team out there, so they must have a chance of qualifying. Yeah. But I think Poland will win the group with Colombia running in second. I think the Colombian side is not a bad side. Yeah. But I'm giving it to Poland with the German striker Lewandowski playing up front for them. Lethal in front of goals. I'm shading it with Poland to win, but a group of death. Yeah. I mean, there could be a lot of draws in this group. Yeah,
I had a bet in this group. I backed Japan to finish last. I think they're the worst team in the group. And I think if ever there's an African team got a squeak to go through, I think Senegal have a chance. You know, they've got good players. Mane, they're well organised right the way through the team. And I've thrown 14-10 into our group. On to the African group, Gav.
Well,
who will go the furthest?
Again, I'm thinking Senegal will be the best bet out of them, but I don't see the African teams performing in this World Cup to qualify for the next round. But Senegal, for me, would be the best out of that.
Yeah, I just think the bottom two are drawn in difficult groups. Nigeria is also in the group of death. Egypt have the easiest group with Russia, but beating the home nation is not going to be easy. So I think 18-10 Senegal, danger. Now on to the winners. Who have you got?
Well, Brazil, Germany, Spain, France, Argentina. I think those are the teams to win. But I think Brazil's going to win this World Cup. I've been watching them for the last 2 years. He's settled on a nice formation. The players have done really well. I think, you know, Brazil are 5 times winners. When they come to tournaments, they're always favourite. But I think this World Cup is tailor-made for them. They're ready. The Germans are going through a bit of a phase where they're blooding a lot of youngsters. Spain don't convince me up front, so that's their Achilles heel. The French, if they get the in-house fighting sorted out and come to a tournament to play, they're definitely a semi-finalist. And Argentina with Messi, he's got to produce one good World Cup performance, and they'll be right there.
Second page, can you see any of these teams doing any damage?
England might be the team to do damage. I'm not a fan of England. We all watch English soccer. But I think with their young team with a lot of pace, they can cause problems to teams.
I think, you know, it depends obviously on the group winners. You know, for me, I've got a sneaky feeling for France. I was always over Brazil until I watched them. I just don't think the right back, Danilo's up to scratch. When they had Dani Alves, was a different story. They go as far as Neymar goes. You know, I've gone for France to beat them in the semi-finals. I think they're great value. I think they've got plenty of players, and also I like them at the back. They've got Umtiti from Barcelona, who's a bit of a hatchet man. Likewise, Varane, and then Kante sitting in front of them. You know, I think they're well organised. My only danger with France is the goalkeeper. I don't think Lloris from Spurs is, you know, he can toss them. But, you know, I just don't like the Germans. I know they're well oiled. I just don't like them this competition. Spain, I just worry about the manager. Is he strong enough to take on the Ramoses, Iniestas, Busquets, all the experienced players? But Brazil have it all. I just think that the French may snare them, you know. On to bets for the weekend, our soccer sixes. We're still going to obviously carry on with them, but it's the international one for the weekend. I've got 3 bankers in 3 fields. Now, bear in mind the Israel-Argentina game is postponed or cancelled. So I've gone the field with Hungary, Australia. I've gone the field with Sweden and Peru, as much as I like Peru. I've banked Argentina. I've gone Denmark and Mexico the field. I've backed France, who are playing at home, to beat the Americans. And Spain are playing Tunisia. You know, a big lot of people playing to get in the team. The game has been played in Russia. So 162 for that perm. The American MLS, which is obviously in full swing. I've banked Patrick Vieira's New York City to beat Atlanta United. I've gone the field with Columbus Crew against the Red Bulls. I've gone win and draw Chicago Fire at home against Brad Friedel's New England. I've banked Houston to beat a Colorado Rapids team that have lost 7 in a row. I've gone the field with Seattle Sounders against Wayne Rooney's expected team, DC United. And I've gone San Jose, win and draw against Los Angeles, 2-1-6. On to the soccer 10. I've gone Latvia, win and draw at home against Azerbaijan. I've gone for the Australians to get a draw, to either win or draw in Hungary. I've gone Morocco, win and draw in Estonia. I've gone Finland at home to Belarus, home win and a draw, 1-2. I've gone the field with Sweden against Peru. I've gone Argentina in the cancelled game. You could go 1, 2, or 3 there. So it doesn't really make a matter. It's the banker. I've gone Mexico, win and draw in Denmark. I've banked France to beat the USA. I've banked Spain to beat Tunisia. And I've gone Cruzeiro, win and draw at Chapecoense Wednesday, Saturday night, 384. On to the Soccer 13, which is a mixture of international and the Swedish Superettan and Division 1 games. I've gone Peru, win and draw at Sweden. I've gone Mexico, win and draw at Denmark. I've banked France to beat the USA. I've gone Australia, win and draw at Hungary. I've banked Braige to beat Varbergs. Halmstad to beat RK Fresh. I've gone Osters, win and draw at home against Norrby. The second page, I've banked Eskilstuna to beat Landskrona. I've gone Sandvikens, win and draw at Narkoppings. I've gone Reininga, win and draw against BK Forward. I've banked Grebbestads to beat Asvittersburg. I've gone Luginskiel, win and draw against Angelholm. And I've gone Tavakas, win and draw at Torns. That's 384. Now for our track and ball sponsored Budgies bets for the weekend, I've gone the MLS father. I've gone New York City to beat Atlanta United. I've gone Vancouver to beat Orlando City, and I've gone the LA Galaxy to beat Real Salt Lake, and I've gone win or draw Sporting Kansas City at Portland Timbers and New England Revolution at the Chicago Fire, 2,600 to 200. Then our Swedish Superettan quad, I've gone Helsingborg to beat Degerfors, I've gone Eskilstuna to beat Landskrona, and I've gone Halmstad and Falkensburg to win by more than 1 goal. Halmstad to beat RK Fresh and Falkenbergs to beat Gefle. Now, because the World Cup starts next Thursday, obviously we've had to have a few bets in advance. So these are, I've done a World Cup Group 6. So obviously all these teams have to win the group. I've gone Uruguay, France, Germany, Brazil, England and Colombia. Worked out at 18 to 1, 3,600 to 200. Now these 3 teams to qualify for the knockout stage. I've gone Peru, Serbia and Mexico. Worked out 11.5 to 1, so 2,300 to 200. I've gone a World Cup treble. I've gone Colombia to score over 4.5 goals. I've gone Japan to finish bottom of Group H, and I've gone France to reach the final, 3,500 to 200, and then the double. I've gone Uruguay to win Group A, and France to win the World Cup, 4,100 to 200. Gav, you had any bets, or are you still waiting for the weekend?
Yeah, look, I'm looking at a couple of results and a couple of teams that can play in, but I've made it out to France, Argentina, Brazil, Germany.
Okay, those are your 4 semi-finalists. So that's the quartet you're going to take with the tote bets.
Yeah,
okay?
and then I think the final will be Argentina, Brazil.
Okay, and the winner?
Argentina with Brazil. It's a close game.
Yeah.
Finals always close. 2 big South American teams. Yeah. I know Brazil's going to be on fire. I think they need to redeem themselves from the last World Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a close one. But maybe with the squad, I think maybe Brazil.
Yeah, well, I jumped ship from Brazil to France. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to back Neymar to be the top player. I think he was 7.5 to 1 to win the Golden Ball, which is a player of the tournament. So I'll have a saviour on all that. To all the guys that have watched, thank you for watching. And hopefully next Thursday when the World Cup starts, it's a profitable competition. Thank you very much.